In the lively community of College Station, Texas, Virginia Ginger Freeman, a 40-year-old wife, mother, and dedicated real estate agent, was recognized for her vibrant personality and deep connections to her community. However, the peace of this close-knit town was shattered on December 1, 1981, when Virginia's life took a tragic turn. Virginia's usual routine of showing a vacant Brazos County residence to a potential buyer ended in a horrifying discovery for her husband, Charles Freeman. Alarmed when Virginia did not return home from work, Charles discovered her lifeless body in the empty property. The scene was marked by extreme violence, with evidence of head trauma and neck stabbing. It was a crime that investigators later described as an act of excessive force, highlighting the brutality inflicted on this unsuspecting woman. The investigation began with Charles Freeman as a primary focus, a standard procedure in such cases. However, a thorough investigation ruled out any marital issues, and Charles provided a solid alibi, clearing him as a suspect. Early leads surfaced when a local brick mason reported seeing a man in a vehicle near the crime scene, leading to forensic hypnosis to create a composite sketch and a partial license plate. Unfortunately, this lead did not result in any concrete information. 2 years went by with no progress until a potential link to another case emerged. Henry Lee Lucas, already convicted of a murder in Ringgold, Texas, approximately 250 miles away, surprised the court by confessing to numerous additional cold cases. Investigators, hopeful for a breakthrough, presented Lucas with a photo of Virginia, and he admitted to stabbing her in the neck. However, when Lucas could not identify the crime scene, it became clear that this was a false confession, a last-ditch effort to postpone his fate. The case remained inactive until 1997, when advancements in DNA technology offered a glimmer of hope. DNA discovered beneath Virginia's fingernails indicated a struggle, prompting the Brazos County Sheriff's Department, in partnership with the Texas Rangers Cold Case Task Force, to reopen the investigation. Suspects underwent DNA testing, including Charles Freeman, whose DNA did not align with the evidence recovered. Despite initial challenges, investigators focused on James Otto Earhart, a former appliance repairman who, 6 years after Virginia's murder, was convicted of killing a 9-year-old girl nearby. The difficulty arose in obtaining Earhart's DNA posthumously, as he was executed in 1999. Utilizing genealogy records and assistance from Earhart's son, the team received approval to exhume his body. In June 2018, the condition of Earhart's remains, left exposed in a cardboard box, posed a significant hurdle. Nevertheless, a DNA sample was successfully extracted from a femur bone and analyzed. On August 30, 2019, the results definitively matched the DNA profile from Virginia's fingernail clippings. James Otto Earhart was posthumously identified as the culprit, bringing closure to a long-standing mystery. While Charles Freeman did not witness justice being served, his children found comfort in the resolution of their mother's case. Despite their disappointment in not being able to apprehend Earhart, the investigators celebrated the resolution of a case that had plagued the community for nearly 4 decades. The journey from a brutal murder to a posthumous conviction highlighted the determination of law enforcement and the advancing role of forensic technology in solving cold cases.
Tanya Van Kenborg, an adventurous and free-spirited young woman, was born in British Columbia, Canada, on March 7, 1969. Throughout her childhood, she displayed a rebellious side, exemplified by her bold choice of wearing a man's tuxedo to her high school prom. This early glimpse into her independent and unconventional nature foreshadowed her future endeavors. Tanya's insatiable curiosity and love for exploration led her to embark on a journey across Europe alongside her best friend, May Robson, just before she met her eventual boyfriend, Jay Cook. This experience had a profound impact on her, fueling her desire to continue traveling and avoiding commitments that might hinder her freedom. Despite her inclination towards a nomadic lifestyle, Tanya understood the importance of responsibility. To support her adventures, she worked part-time as a dog walker and a waitress at Pickwick's, a British-themed restaurant in Vancouver City. Her decision to forego college and focus on her goal of traveling demonstrated her unwavering determination to carve her own path in life. J. Roland Cook, born on December 16, 1966, hailed from Saanich, British Columbia. By the time 1987 arrived, Jay, at the age of 20, found himself grappling with a sense of aimlessness. Uncertain about his future, he faced the pressures of adulthood without a clear vision of his goals. Growing up in a family that instilled a strong work ethic, thanks to his father, Gordon Jay, along with his two sisters, contributed to the family business, Cook and Talbot Limited Heating Specialists, a small family-run company specializing in furnace installations. Although Jay contemplated a shift towards marine biology, he engaged in the family business to occupy his time. Jay's reputation as a responsible and dependable individual extended back to his high school days. At social gatherings, he showcased his caring nature by intervening when a friend faced potential harm due to excessive drinking. Jay's spontaneous and lively nature led him to leave his job at a pizza parlor to cycle through rain for 3 hours just to join friends. His life took a significant turn when he met Tanya through a mutual friend in July of the same year. Tanya was drawn to Jay's caring and responsible demeanor, and their relationship quickly blossomed. Despite uncertainties about his own future, Jay's willingness to take on challenges and his dynamic personality endeared him to those around him. Tanya and Jay's relationship, though relatively short-lived, was marked by a sense of adventure. Tanya's initial hesitance toward settling down was juxtaposed with Jay's eagerness to carve out a future together. Their decision to embark on a work-related trip to Seattle reflected not only their commitment to each other, but also their shared enthusiasm for new experiences. Unfortunately, this trip would take a dark turn that would cost both Tanya and Jay their lives. The plan involved a scenic route starting with a ferry from Victoria to Port Angeles, Washington, followed by a drive through various highways to eventually reach Seattle. Initially, Tanya tried to invite her best friend, May, to join them on the trip, but May had to decline due to illness. Reflecting later, May could not shake off the guilt, wondering if her presence might have altered the tragic events that unfolded. The young couple embarked on their journey on November 18, 1987, in Jay's father's 1977 Ford Club van. The purpose of the trip was for Jay to pick up the furnace from a supplier in Seattle. Despite a minor detour and a missed turnoff, the first leg of their journey seemed uneventful. However, the last confirmed sighting of Jay and Tanya was at a ferry terminal in Bremerton at 10:16 p.m., where they purchased a ticket to Seattle. The following morning, when the supplier waited in vain for them to collect the furnace, concerns set in. The Kenborg and Cook's families, linked by the missing couple, reported them missing on November 20th. Despite growing concern, law enforcement hesitated to initiate a comprehensive investigation due to the lack of evidence indicating foul play. Meanwhile, Bill Van Kenborg, a lawyer, decided to take matters into his own hands as the families anxiously awaited updates. Frustrated by the lack of progress, he organized a helicopter search, but the vastness of Washington state hindered his efforts. However, on November 24th, a devastating discovery was made when Tanya's partially unclothed body was found in a ditch near Parson Creek Road in Skagit County. She had been assaulted, bound with plastic ties, and shot execution style in the head. Bill Van Kenborg, Tanya's father, was called upon to identify his daughter. Following the horrifying discovery of Tanya Van Kenborg's lifeless body near Parson Creek Road, investigators uncovered several crucial pieces of evidence that further intensified the mystery and horror surrounding the case. A bartender at Essie's Tavern in Bellingham reported finding Tanya's wallet and a set of keys behind the bar. Initially considered lost property, the bartender's realization, prompted by news of Tanya's case, led him to contact the police. The contents of the wallet were confirmed to belong to Tanya, prompting a closer examination of the area. As investigators delved into the surroundings, additional clues began to emerge. They discovered zip ties similar to the ones used to bind Tanya, linking the crime scene to Essie's Tavern. This detail suggested a potential connection between where her belongings were found and her brutal murder. The investigation took a significant turn when the team located a van that matched the description provided by Bill Van Kenborg. Jay Cook had been driving this van, and it was found near Tanya's body. Upon inspection, the interior of the van revealed a grim reality. It was covered in blood belonging to both Tanya and Jay. The condition of the van, combined with the blood evidence, immediately raised concerns about Jay's well-being. Initially suspected due to his unknown whereabouts, Jay Cook was now seen as another victim. The evidence strongly indicated that he too had met a tragic end, dispelling earlier suspicions of his involvement in Tanya's case. On November 26th, Scott Walker discovered Jay Cook's lifeless body during a hunting trip in Snohomish County, just 50 miles from where Tanya was found. If Tanya's crime scene was gruesome, Jay's discovery was even more chilling. The scene was grim, with dog collars and twine tightly wound around Jay's neck. Disturbingly, tissues and a pack of cigarettes had been shoved down his throat, causing asphyxiation. Severe head wounds and bloodstains on his clothes suggested he had been subjected to brutal violence, possibly torture. The timeline of events surrounding Jay's death became a crucial aspect of the investigation. Given that the couple's van was found closer to Tanya's body than Jay's, it was speculated that Jay might have been killed first. The disturbing implication was that the perpetrator might have eliminated Jay to facilitate the assault on Tanya without any hindrance. The gruesome details of Jay's death painted a horrifying picture, leaving investigators struggling with the magnitude of the crimes committed against the young couple. As law enforcement worked tirelessly to reconstruct the sequence of events, the haunting question of who was responsible for such brutal acts loomed large. While Jay's discovery brought some closure to his family, it heightened the urgency of solving the case. With both victims confirmed deceased, the focus shifted to identifying the perpetrator. In the aftermath of Tanya Van Kenborg and Jay Cook's brutal murders, their families faced a new wave of torment in December 1987. An anonymous letter writer claiming to be the killer sent threatening letters to both families. Upon further examination of the correspondence, the unidentified author was eventually ruled out as a suspect, leaving the families with more questions than answers. Detective Jim Sharf, deeply affected by the horrific nature of the unresolved case, played a crucial role in the pursuit of justice. In 1995, he played a key role in establishing a cold case team, and the case involving Tanya and Jay became one of their earliest assignments. The search for answers took a significant turn in May 2003 when investigators analyzed the victim's van. Among the crucial pieces of evidence discovered were Tanya's black pants, which contained male DNA that did not match Jay Cook. This unidentified DNA, referred to as Individual A, became a focal point for investigators. Despite uploading the profile to the combined database index system, the FBI's National Offender Database in 2003, no matches were found, leaving the case at a frustrating standstill. Throughout the years, Detective Sharf encountered numerous theories and false leads, with over 200 names crossing his desk. In 2015, a woman named Chelsea Rustad, unrelated to the victims, submitted her DNA to a public database in order to explore her family history. Little did she know that her DNA would play a crucial role in unraveling the mystery surrounding Tanya and Jay's fate. The breakthrough finally occurred on April 25, 2018. Inspired by the arrest of the Golden State offender, Detective Sharf, eager to utilize the same technology, collaborated with Parabon Nanolabs and genetic genealogist C.C. Moore. Individual A's DNA was uploaded to GEDmatch, and within a few hours Moore identified second cousins, allowing her to construct a detailed family tree. The name that emerged from this investigation was William Earl Talbot II. To confirm the match, investigators discreetly followed Talbot until they were able to obtain a discarded paper coffee cup. Forensic scientist Lisa Collins subsequently confirmed the match between the DNA on Talbot's cup and Individual A. On May 17, 2018, William Earl Talbot II was apprehended after an exhaustive search spanning more than 30 years. The families of Tanya Van Kenborg and Jay Cook, who had endured years of uncertainty, were informed about this significant breakthrough. For Detective Sharf, it marked a momentous occasion, providing a sense of closure and justice to one of the most perplexing unsolved cases he had ever encountered. In June 2019, William Earl Talbot was found guilty and received a life sentence without the possibility of parole for the murders of Tanya Van Kenborg and Jay Cook. However, on December 7, 2021, an appellate court overturned the conviction due to juror bias, opening the door to the potential for a second trial. On December 22, 2022, the appellate court dismissed the idea of a retrial. Nevertheless, the Washington State Supreme Court intervened on the same day, reinstating the guilty verdict. The court emphasized that the defense had chosen not to utilize peremptory challenges to dismiss the biased juror. As of December 22, 2022, Talbot remains in custody. In 1958, Pamela Cassidy was born in the serene town of Stillwater, Minnesota, to a close-knit family residing on a dairy farm. Growing up as the second youngest among 8 siblings, Pamela experienced a childhood filled with love and the joys of farm life. However, as she matured, Pamela felt a deep desire for adventure beyond the familiar surroundings of her upbringing. At the age of 25, driven by a passion to explore the world and serve her country, she made a life-changing decision to enlist in the United States Navy. Transitioning from the heart of Minnesota to Central Florida, Pamela began a new chapter at the Orlando Naval Training Center in May 1984. Her upbringing on the family farm instilled in her a strong work ethic and discipline that proved invaluable during the demanding Navy training. After successfully completing 2 months of training, Pamela proudly graduated from the Naval Training Center on August 3, 1984. However, the joy of her accomplishment was short-lived. The following day, on August 4, 1984, Pamela's promising future took a tragic turn. She was last seen at the Fashion Square Mall in Orlando, where she purchased makeup and toiletries from a mart. A receipt found later by investigators with a timestamp of 3:18 p.m. provided a crucial clue about her last known whereabouts. Later that evening, Pamela was spotted walking near the Naval Training Center with an unidentified man between 6:30 and 7 p.m. Their presence at Club Mariner, a bar on the Navy base, was documented. The mystery surrounding the unidentified man added complexity to the unfolding tragedy for investigators. Pamela's lifeless body was discovered partially nude in front of a vacant home on Riverview Avenue in Sanford on August 5, 1984. The brutal nature of her demise indicated that her life had been taken elsewhere before being discarded heartlessly. The investigation took a distressing turn when an anonymous receipt, devoid of any identifying details, was discovered at the scene of the crime. This enigmatic receipt indicated a purchase made at 1:09 a.m., suspected to be from a Chinese restaurant. The untimely death of Pamela deeply shook her family, leaving them grappling with sorrow and unanswered inquiries for a staggering 34 years. The initial investigation posed challenges as authorities struggled to identify a suspect or determine the motive behind this atrocious act. Due to the close proximity to the Naval Training Center, investigators speculated that the perpetrator may have had ties to the military base. Despite the diligent efforts of the Seminole County Sheriff's Department, crucial leads remained elusive, and the case remained unsolved for decades. The passage of time did not diminish Pamela's family's determination to seek justice for their beloved sister. In their pursuit of closure, they endured false leads and moments of despair, yet their hope persevered. A breakthrough finally emerged with the advancements in forensic technology. In a remarkable turn of events, a detective from the Seminole County Sheriff's Department contacted Pamela's family, arranging an in-person meeting in Minnesota. The family, anticipating routine updates on the case, were unaware of the monumental revelation that awaited them. The investigator presented the family with a video capturing the arrest of a suspect, Thomas Lewis Garner. Garner, a 59-year-old dental hygienist who had worked at the Orlando Naval Training Center alongside Pamela, was apprehended on a first-degree homicide charge. The arrest took place in Jacksonville, where Garner had been residing for several years. While the arrest marked the beginning of a new chapter for Pamela's family, it also raised a multitude of questions. The motive behind the crime remained undisclosed, and the connection between Garner and Pamela within the context of the Naval Training Center remained unclear. Garner, after his court appearance, confronted the seriousness of the charges against him, facing the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison. The case's breakthrough came from the innovative application of DNA analysis and genealogy databases. Investigators utilized the public genealogy database, GEDmatch, to create a DNA family tree that led them to Thomas Lewis Garner. Surveillance of Garner and the collection of a personal item allowed detectives to match his DNA with evidence from the crime scene in 1984. Thomas Garner's arrest in 2019 was a pivotal moment in the cold case investigation, bringing a renewed sense of hope to Pamela's family after years of uncertainty. During the trial, Garner testified in his own defense, acknowledging a potential casual encounter with Pamela years earlier, but vehemently denying any involvement in her death. Garner's defense strategy aimed to raise doubts about the prosecution's case, presenting an alternative narrative to distance him from the crime. In a long-awaited resolution to the cold case, the jury found Thomas Garner guilty. Following the conviction, Garner received a life sentence without the possibility of parole, concluding a legal process that lasted nearly 4 decades. Pamela's sister, speaking on behalf of the family, delivered a powerful statement in court after the verdict. She expressed a range of emotions, highlighting the hope that Garner would reflect on the time he spent free while her family suffered from the loss. While the sentencing provided closure, it could never fully erase the years of pain the family endured without justice. Detectives revealed that Thomas Garner is being investigated as a potential suspect in another cold case, with his DNA reportedly matching evidence from a 1982 murder in Honolulu involving a 25-year-old woman. Although no formal charges have been brought against Garner in this particular instance, prosecutors have alluded to the possibility that he may have other victims. This speculation has led to a deeper investigation into Garner's potential involvement in other unsolved cases, raising the concern that he could be a serial offender. The apprehension and subsequent conviction of Thomas Lewis Garner in relation to the violent incident involving Pamela serves as a testament to the determination of those who seek justice and the ever-evolving landscape of forensic technology. Pamela's story initially revolved around a young woman's pursuit of adventure and her dedication to serving her country, but tragically took a devastating turn, leaving an enduring impact on her family. This heartbreaking case serves as a reminder that, even with the passage of time, diligent investigators and advancements in forensic science can ultimately bring closure to the most perplexing cold cases.